We're so happy to have you back in here on our second day of this Entrepreneurship for All Academy, which we like and enjoy so much preparing and sharing with all of you. Thank you, everyone. While everybody joins in, please feel free to use the chat, introduce yourself, maybe share your LinkedIn contact, because this is also about networking and finding interesting people to share and learn with. Okay, so feel free to use the chat and say hello there. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Marianela Parra from Ventani Education, and we're part of this fantastic consortium working for this project that it's so dear to us, Entrepreneurship for All. Okay, for those of you who are new to this format, let's say, of getting together, we are celebrating getting together. Is it every 2 months, maybe, Megan? Yes, kind of. In these academies, in which we are going to focus in each academy on a different topic. Okay. Last November, we had 3 fantastic days all around SMEs and how to connect with other SMEs, establish great networking strategies, etc. And these 3 days, yesterday we had our first session of this week, all about the power of positive thinking. Today we have our 2 fantastic colleagues from Enterprise Evolution, Jan Miao and Ross Dean. Thank you for being here. They're going to be leading the session today and tomorrow. Do not miss tomorrow, because tomorrow is going to be, today is all about resilient mindsets and successful ventures, and tomorrow is going to be about, I'm sorry, I'm blank, about leadership and wellness. Yes, we're going to dedicate to leadership. So I'm just going to share my screen 1 second before I give the floor to Jan and Ross, because I know that some of you are old friends, but some of you are joining us for the first time. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody in this room, old friends and new friends, have been in. Are you seeing my screen? Yes, right? Okay. That you can go to, or you have been to, entrepreneurship4all.eu. Okay, this is our webpage, which we're always improving and adding new things to it, new resources, etc. Because one of the things we're truly working on is our learning paths, okay, our learning pathway. So what I wanted to show you is that we have some very cool tools in here, okay? So if you start, you will see that we have 4 pathways, okay? Right now, 3 are out there, and the 4th one is coming very soon, and it's full of micro bits of learning, okay? So as I always say, you can use your coffee break to go through one of these every day, and you'll be gaining a lot of new insights and techniques and new knowledge, etc. Everything around financial sustainability, digital issues, and of course, entrepreneurship, okay? So you will pick and choose, you will find, you will create your own journey, let's say. If you're not sure where to start, because there's a lot in there for you, because we really want it to be about you, your needs, your challenges, what you want to learn. We do have, and you'll find it down here, a where to start little survey that will help you and will give you advice depending on your experience and where to start, okay? And we also have some virtual reality experiences in there, so you will enjoy it, okay? So please feel free. We welcome you to come to Entrepreneurship for All and start your learning journey today. Alrighty, so I'm gonna be quiet now and pass it on to Jan and Ross. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Mariana. Nice to meet you all. And it's great to see. I mean, I joined yesterday's session. It was brilliant. We had lots of people interacting with the chat. So it was really useful. And I even using some of the strategy with my daughter last night, because she's going some sort of a challenging time. So that's brilliant. So thank you very much, Mariana. And thank you very everyone today. And my name's Yan. I'm from EEC, and I have had just over probably 20 years of experience working with startup and growth and supporting them and navigating sort of some of the complexity and challenges they went through in the journey of whether starting up or growing and just scaling up their business. So it's brilliant to be here to share some of my sort of experience working with them, and also I want to sort of learn from each other as well. So it'd be brilliant if I can, get yourself engaged as much as possible, because it's the session is not just about, it's about every single one of us. We want to learn from this fantastic opportunity. And my current role at the moment is really focusing on some of the online educational platforms, which Mariana just showed. So we definitely encourage you. We put a lot of effort, and with experience, we had some of the scenario examples that we gathered in the last 10-20 years experience of working with the clients. So we encourage you to sign up and have a look at the modules that you enjoy, and then you will learn from that platform. And also we are going to work more on the digital side, helping digital transformation for female entrepreneurs. So Pastor Roz introduce herself. Thank you.
Hello everyone, thanks for joining us over your lunchtime. So yeah, I work with Jan and I'm part of EEEC as well. And I'm really passionate about resilience and building confidence, especially when we're talking about being an entrepreneur and what that involves. So it is such a great platform. If you've not been on it, get on there. There's so many experts sharing their knowledge. It's obviously all free to get on. So why are you not on there already? So today we're just going to talk a little bit about resilience, and I say putting that towards channeling it into your business and your business growth. So I'm just going to share my screen. So hopefully you can all see that.
It's just loading for us, but let's give it a moment. There we go. Now we see it. Thank you, Rose.
Excellent. So what I wanted to start with is a nice little exercise, and I'm going to throw it open to you guys to think about resilience and what it means to you. So we've put together a Padlet, so hopefully someone's going to share it in the chat, but we are also going for the QR code too. So if you want to scan that or just click that link and have a little think and share. So just put a little note in. It could be something to do with, a particular person. It could be to do with a job. It could be a personal experience, anything you like. So I'll just give you a minute to add and I'll have a little look, and hopefully you're all typing away. Oh, excellent. So we've got things like coming back stronger from a fall, the ability to bounce back, being able to move forward and overcome challenges, that capacity to deal with the unexpected. Skateboarding, yeah, that definitely takes a lot of resilience, getting up from a fall. Knowing when to ask for help, really important. Moving forward despite obstacles. Everyone's so busy, loving this. Energy expensive. Bouncing back. Doing a PhD definitely takes a lot of resilience. Well done, you. The process of adapting well in the face of adversity, trauma, tragedy, threats, or even significant amounts of stress. Toughness.
And just while we're working on this as well, if you're not able to access the Padlet, feel free to pop your message in the chat and I will copy them over for you.
Amazing, thank you. Might have to come back to this in a minute. This is great. And we'll share this as well, won't we, after in our LinkedIn group. So if you're not in there,
yes, we will. I've already shared the one from yesterday, so don't worry. After this, we'll share this one too.
Fab. So keep going, not giving up. So we'll check back in on that. So I'm going to share my slides again. So thanks, everyone. So this is the dictionary definition of resilience. and it's the skill to cope with difficulties or thrive against obstacles. So all the things that you guys have been saying, it's thinking about mental toughness, being able to adapt and recover, and being able to bounce back from failures and disappointments. And what's really important is it's about learning as well and growing and improving from those challenges that we've faced and being able to take that forward. So again, thinking about if we're thinking about our business, any challenges there, things that we've come up against, when we come up to new obstacles, we can reflect back and think about what we've already come across, what we've done, how we recovered, and we can put that into moving forward. So what I'm going to do is talk about nature. So it's really important to acknowledge that resilience isn't just like a man-made concept. Resilience is something that is at the very core of nature around us. And I've got 3 examples here, and they are a spider web, a diamond, and an oak tree. And I'm just going to explain about the resilience behind them and how we can apply that to ourselves. And then you guys can start thinking about your own examples. So I'm going to open a new page on the Padlet, and you can start thinking about examples of nature. So spider webs are incredibly resilient because of their unique structure. They're strong, elasticated, and tough, and they perform well in changing environments. So thinking about the different temperatures and humidity, like if you think about when there's been a really bad storm and you step outside and you can see that the spider webs have survived it. Your plant pots might not have, but the spider webs will. So the resilience lies in its flexibility and the fact when it is partly damaged, it can still be repaired quickly. So in the same way, resilience is about adapting to change and being able to rebuild things when they go wrong and being able to flex and not break under pressure. My other 2 examples. So diamonds are formed under pressure. They're very durable and tough, and they're one of the hardest natural substances, and it's really hard to scratch them or braze them, and they make really great tools in industry, and they teach us that resilience is not just about surviving, it's about transforming and how we can become stronger, better, and more valuable because of those pressures that we've faced. And then we have our oak tree, and it stands tall and it weathers storms and droughts, and it can stand all kinds of things from fires, from wind, from droughts, from pests, and they can survive countless environmental challenges as well. And they are the cornerstone of every ecosystem and a symbol of endurance in nature. So they're just 3 examples of how nature provides resilience. And I want you guys to pop back to that Padlet and have a think about examples in nature of resilience that you've seen or you've experienced. We've also got a link that we're going to share with our package that gets sent out later, and you can read a bit more about nature and the resilience that you can find in there. So let's pop over and see what you guys are coming up with. Ooh, resilience is still growing. So page 2 here, animals that hibernate. Yeah, definitely. Sometimes I think maybe I should do that. Plants that grow through concrete, definitely. Like we put down all these buildings, we put down paving stones, and plants just flourish. They find a way. Yeah, oh God.
Lizards that grow their tails back.
That's a great example.
That's amazing. I always find it amazing.
Our gardens that come back after winter. I have a strawberry plant that I planted a few years ago, and it was very small, and every year it comes back with more strawberries, and I find that really exciting.
And I just want to share one of the sort of feedback from a client, talking about the cobweb, the spider web, and she just said, the cobweb is like the shape of a dream catcher. And I always share that. I found that brilliant because the dream catcher will let the light go through and block all the darkness. And I thought that's brilliant and a perfect example of how the resilient work. Yeah, so I absolutely love this activity.
Yeah, there are so many examples, even things from how determined your dog can be. Like one lady said her dog escaped once, and then after that the dog was just determined to try and get out that door because it did it once. It was just never going to give up trying to escape again. What else have we got? Mothers, parenting, ants, excellent. Lions hunting for that prey, yeah. Rivers that change course, yeah, that's a beautiful one, yeah. Anything else? Just so much activity. Okay. So the reason that I mention this, as I say, resilience is really important to us, and thinking about what's around us in nature really teaches us lessons. So whenever we're really struggling, we can just look out the window and be inspired by so many things. They're not just metaphors, they're just valuable lessons that we can use both in our lives and in our business too. So I'm going to hand over to my colleague Jan, and she's going to talk about how we can use resilience when we're building our business. So over to you, Jan. I'll stop sharing for now.
Thank you, Roz. And then while I'm doing the presentation, Roz will sort of, look after Padlet for me, because we're going to have a lot of activity as we go along, focus on more business resilience. Right, I'm going to share my screen now. Right, just give a couple of minutes to load, because everyone can see it now.
Yes, we can see your presentation, Jan.
Brilliant. Thank you. And thank you, Roz. And now we're going to look at how, we just look at how resilience exists in nature, like Roz said. Now we're going to shift our focus on why resilience is so important in the business world. When you're running a business, whether it's a startup or growing enterprise, and it will be a journey with a lot of uncertainty. Entrepreneurs and business leaders are constantly navigating those challenges like economic downturns, competitive pressures, shift in customer preference, even unexpected disruptions. So, for example, like the supply chain issues, global crisis. So in these situations, resilience is essential for our survival and growth. And then why we think the resilience is important, because it helps us managing uncertainty. Whether that could be forecasting revenue, anticipating market trends. Business that are resilient can adapt and pivot more effectively when circumstances change. And I think, if those people came in today had been running the business over the COVID period, you definitely will be, thinking about how you have pivoted the business during those crises. And it's also about bouncing back from setbacks. So setbacks like losing some of the key clients, facing a sudden drop in sales, it can feel overwhelming. Resilience allows the entrepreneurs to recover. We just look at the definition. One of the things is recover and learn from those failures and use your experience to come back even stronger. So that's why we really need to think about how we can be resilient in our business journey. And it's also help us thriving, going back to the theme of today, we want to be thriving in our business under growth pressure. So growing our business is exciting, it brings pressure, hiring the right team, meeting increased demand, scaling up operation. A resilience mindset help business owners approach these pressures with some clarity and confidence. So viewing them with opportunities rather than burdens. So we will be talking about now how we actually build this resilience, and then it's bring us to this powerful framework called 3 C's of resilience. So control, commitment, and challenge. So in front of you, you'll see this sort of a 3C framework, or we call them strategy. This developed by a psychologist, Susan Kobesa, and then she believes there are 3 elements of essential to building this resilience. And according to her research, resilient people view difficult situations and setbacks as challenge and accept the challenge of these changes part of a life. And they approach their problem with an open mind and a willingness to learn from the failures. And instead of obstacles, setbacks, it become opportunities, for those for their personal growth. Resilient people spend their time and energy focusing on situation and an event that they have control over. And they do not spend time worrying about things they cannot change or control, because they put their effort where they can have the most impact. They end up feeling empowered and confident. And resilient people have a strong sense of commitment, and these commitments give them a reason, keep them focused and not really give up when face these adversity. So we'll look at those, each part of the 3C framework in a much more details, looking at what it actually means and how we can apply these into your business practice. And we'll be sharing some of the business scenarios, the business that I work in the past, and we'll be sharing some of those challenges and difficulties that they face, and how we can actually, come up with ideas and focusing on, using this strategy to help them overcome those challenges and develop their venture. So the first one obviously is about the challenge. Every business will face setbacks, like we talked about before. Could be drop in the sales, supply chain disruption, increased competition. Business that adopt a challenge mindset see those obstacles not as a reason to give up, but as an opportunity to innovate, grow, and stay ahead. Viewing these challenges as a chance of transformation is what separates resilient business from those struggle to adapt. Next one is about control. Control is about focusing on what you can influence. So business like people, you cannot control everything. Market trends, economic policies, or natural disasters, for instance. However, they can control that response, whether it's streamlining operation, improving customer relationships, or developing contingency plans, focusing on what's within your capacity that you can take on action and regain those stability. And some of the examples here, for example, we can focusing on how we organizing our task, how could I manage some expected, staff's absence? How do you actually during a financial crime, looking at the recurring expenses, negotiating a better payment terms, or reduce your overheads. These are the things you can looking at yourself, thinking, what are the things that can control your decisions, how you manage your time? These are the things that you can looking at to control. Commitment. I think a commitment is really important. We've got to really focusing on our long-term goals and progress. And just like individuals who find strengths from meaningful goals and relationships, business thrive when they remain deeply committed to their mission, their value, and their stakeholders, whether that's employee, customers, or wider community. And I think this sense of purpose provides clarity and directions, and even during a turbulent time. So I think, it's really important we stay aligned with our vision. And, with some business, we're using their visual boards to look at long-term goals to keep them motivated during setbacks. So in the next part of a sort of discussion, we will be looking at some of the different business scenarios and discuss how these 3C, challenge, commitment, control can be practically applied. So if I ask Rods to open the Padlet, we'll just start the first business scenario, and I want you to share your thought if you haven't been through those difficulties yourself. But let's just have a look at those scenarios and input your ideas. But if you have been through yourself, it'd be great to have a look at how did you overcome those difficulties. So the first one, well, let's just Rods open the Padlet. So the first scenario is we got a small cafe in a rural town And I noticed that the raising food cost were reducing their profits. And I think that's really common. I mean, we had a lot of those business inquiries about, because the inflation rates, economic downturn, the food, rising food costs is facing everyone and every business. So the first example I've got here is, they started to think about what they can control is about revising that menu, maybe looking at how they can reduce the ingredient cost. Brilliant. We've actually got someone possibly having a set menu, that would catering for different budget, right? Knowing and understanding your customers. Yeah, we'll give people a couple of minutes to put in some ideas and the strategies that we talk about these three. It doesn't matter, if you don't know exactly whether that's challenge or control or commitment. So let's have a look. Well, set up a special events, yeah. And I think doing the events will be really good, where we can looking at, bring up the income charging, because there will be service charge on top of that. Maybe we'll balance some of the costs, in terms of the food. Right. Focusing on seasonal spending, yeah, I think the seasonal spending is a really good way of controlling your cost on food, because when you have the supplier and then kind of offering the seasonal produce means that you can negotiate the price and will eventually help you to reduce the cost. That's really good points. Yeah, and then someone put collaborate with your local supplier. Absolutely. It is a great way to working collaboratively with your local business and get the best deal and supporting each other as well. And I think that give you a strong branding as well, working with the local business, supporting local business, get that collaboration. Right, we got reduce the cost by controlling food loss. Yeah, so the food waste, I think, is that what you meant, so you got to really monitor how the stock control in your business to making sure you don't have much of the waste in your business. Brilliant. I like the idea about sourcing your food ingredient locally. Simplify the menu. Absolutely, I really like that, because how many times you went to a cafe or order something, you don't even have to, it might not even have the stock in place. So focusing on what is the most popular ones, and also you need to understand, looking at your figures, financial forecast, or financial figures, to knowing which products or which items that give you the most profit. That is really important. Right, we got another one I really like, introduce specialist events to attract customers. So I also talked about that before. And negotiate the rent, absolutely, yeah. So you have the power to negotiate with the landlord. If you're thinking about long-term, lease, etc., that's a brilliant idea. And introduce some of the premium products for a higher margin. I like that idea, and I definitely think, when we talk about having a different approach in terms of a differential of your market, where you looking at, you will have people have more budget, where they're willing to have a better service, the quality of food. Maybe, for example, you want organic produce, so then you can absolutely charge more when you're prepared. An increased price, yeah. So, well, yeah, if that's the case, because everyone would expect inflation rise, and then they will expect the percentage of what that would impact on the business. And I remembered, and I worked with a business, and she offering a cat sitting services, and as you look at the financial statement, she realized the business is not making a profit, is actually making a loss. And then we did a lot of analysis on why that's been happening. And then one of the reasons is she's not charging enough. She eventually have to increase the price, and she was worried about whether she's gonna losing the clients, the people has been with. But she sent an email with the reason why she has to, and the response been brilliant. You got people really supporting their business, and also she focusing on highlighting the benefits. She's providing great services, she's providing training for her staff, so that shows her commitment to the business. And then you got the response from the client saying, we will stay with you, even if you're raising price. So that's brilliant. So let's have a look. So negotiate discount from supplier. Yeah, so that's what we covered before. That's brilliant. I love those ideas. That's very good. New cafe experience, create new cafe. That would be with the price. Yeah, so you're providing not just the food, you're providing an experience and the customer here. Excellent. I really, appreciate your input here. It's been brilliant. We will definitely tidy up the notes and then share with everyone. Let me just have a quick look if there's anything important. I think, rent, supplier. What is this? Collecting goods, premium products. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Review money. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Yeah, reduce the overhead cost. Yeah, so absolutely important, because when we talk about the cost of the business, we got a fixed cost and a variable cost. And so the first thing we need to look at, is there anything we can, looking at to reduce our overhead cost, and also, we need to look at the variable cost as well. So absolutely important. I mean, one thing I want to mention in here is, you have lots of a great idea. We also, in the E4All platforms, obviously we have been developing a unit or pathway on the financial education, financial literacy. And this is really, sort of heart of where we discuss about controlling your cost. And we have a lot of tools there, like the cash flow forecast, financial statement, and also lots of information about how you can, monitor the sort of cost of your business. A lot of useful information on there. So we encourage you. We will probably share the link as well, so where specific units or the section where you can find those information. So this is brilliant. I like those ideas. And I think the other thing I want to mention is, for example, you could have introducing some vegan range, because that's been popular. We were looking at having some of the events in function high. Those are all the things you can do within your business. So instead of seeing that as a sort of a challenge, you're turning that into an opportunity to develop a range of new product and service. So that's brilliant. Well done. Thank you very much for everyone. And we're going to continue for the next example. So Rods, if you could help us look at the next one. Thank you. So this business, we have a local fashion boutique and face some financial pressure, and after a slow sales season. So the first one we got here is potentially, she or he would have an opportunity to apply some regional small business grant, and we got someone explore funding opportunities. I mean, this is again that we are in our pathway of financial literacy. We have a specific section on how to research those funding opportunities. That's brilliant. Yeah, we've got the link there. Thank you very much for sharing that, Rods. Let's give people a couple of minutes to have a think about what can we help, or what are the 3 strategies she can adopt to help her coping with the financial pressure that she's facing. I mean, obviously, fashion business is a very cash relying business. You have to manage the cash. In some of the business, you probably have to thinking about not just season, in advance. You probably have to think a year or a couple of years in advance in terms of your cash flow. Oh, I like the idea of sell the second-hand clothes, and I think that is being really like on the the topic about the sustainability and recycling, giving them a second love. And I think, if you're passionate about this, about the sustainability, you've got to really commit yourself, thinking this is where I set my business and this is my passion. I'm going to drive myself through this difficulty. Right, again, we got people thinking about working with the landlord. This is important, looking at your overheads, where there's any leeway where you can negotiate with the landlord in terms of getting you through those difficult periods. That is brilliant. The landlord, normally, if you have that sort of building up, positive relationship with them, they will offer you that opportunity. And we got people saying reduce the price, so at least cover the part of investment. I'm not quite sure what exactly it means. Do you mean the pricing? How you charge the customers, or upcycle some of the last season? Yeah, that's a really good idea. I really like that one. Clothes rental, that has been really popular, haven't we? We heard a lot about those. And I think, I have a friend who actually, talk about this. And I thought, how does it really work? Even some of the big businesses offering that. Yeah, that's really good. And focusing on local sales. That's good. Exploring. Yeah, right. Okay, we got someone popping here about the bank loans. We also have a specific section in our E4All platform talk about a business like, for example, this fashion boutique having financial pressures, then they might need to look into some of the bank loans, for example, called the working capital loan. So we have a specific, sort of criteria and eligibility, a table that shows you what you need to consider when you approach bank about the working capital loan. So it will be, encouraged if you're thinking about it, if you do going through some of the difficult times, financial, in terms of pressure in your business, have a look at that section in the E4All platforms. Right, so also we got people saying, promote your stock online platform. So this is once again, as a business owner, you got to think about if you have a physical premises, if you have one source of income, think about how you can diversify your income stream. Because, I've always said, very important for any business, it is really important you're not focusing or only have one source of income. Diversify those income will help you to be resilient, going through the difficulties. And I think if you can think about at least 3 sources of income, so that'll give you a more stable in terms of going through some of the difficulties. So that is one idea about having an online platform where you can actually selling online, where you don't have to restrict it, the customers locally. You can actually have a broader customer reach. So that's brilliant. And we've got here saying working with a local college and offer internship to someone learn about business, new ideas and local staff. That is absolutely brilliant idea. And I think it's important, obviously, as well as saving some of the cost of staff cost. And we also have, in terms of, offering opportunity for young people to learn. So I remember that working with a local interior designer here in Liverpool, she recently, probably just before or after COVID, she took over a business where she has been trained by somebody else. And then that person, decided that she's going to retire. And she actually took over the business where she's been trained as interior designer. And now she's offering the same opportunity for local college, for students to come in and learn about interior design. I think that is a brilliant idea for her to making sure, you have a strong brand and strong support for, for the people where you want to develop and invest in the business. So that is really good. Thank you very much for, talking about that. I was thinking about to share that idea as well. And then we have someone saying, launch local fashion contest. Yeah, that's great. I think that is a part of you could do as a marketing strategy as well. Bring your people's sort of focus on in terms of your wider community and looking at the strong branding for your business. Brilliant. And the special events, yeah, that's cool. That's brilliant. Lots of ideas. Have a sell on shift stock. Yeah, so we've got, yes, brilliant. Thank you, Lisa. That is great. Yeah, well, this is something definitely I think is worth checking, where Lisa just had a great idea put in the chat box about ChatGPT. Yes, absolutely. For those who you are using the AI, and have a look at this, ask ChatGPT, what can you help me? What ideas have you got? They are really great tool to brainstorming lots of ideas. Yeah, so we got diversity income, so we definitely have that one. And do something with a charity. That's a really good point. I think it is really good for you having a social objective. It's not you, sorry. Oh, brilliant. Thank you. I didn't see that, but it's really good. I think it's really, these tools are out there to help us. We should look into those ones. And I think we also have some ideas like, so we talk about working capital loan. We look at, opportunities, I think from investors as well. So in going back to our platform, E4 platform pathway of financial literacy, I think there's one about specific, how do you attract investors? And we also have an example of how you can pitch your idea to local investors. So this is really important if you got that opportunity, and then we've got lots of information on our E4 platform for you to have a look. Any other ideas? Let's have a look. Well, there's also another one I thought might be worth looking at as we talk about in the cafes, was offer some of the bespoke services where you can charge them a premium price. So the same as thought about, looking at your differentiate, your target market, and then looking at their need and where you have the pricing strategy accordingly. Great. I think that's it. We have a lot of ideas we definitely will share after the session. Brilliant. We'll move on to the next one. So thank you very much for all your input. So now we've got another business scenario here. So this one, we already got the that is a really useful tool. And we also, apart from ChatGPT, we also have Perplexity, and then the sort of discussion, a lot of debate now on the media is we have this Chinese AI company just have this app called DeepSeek, I think, they topped ChatGPT. So, go and explore those opportunities. Yeah. So this business is a family-run e-commerce store, and then they struggled with delays and errors due to manual order processing. So have a look at this scenario and how you would help, using the strategy to deal with this difficulty in the business. Right, we've already got lots of ideas now. Yes, I think absolutely important to looking at some of the new system and, in terms of digitalization, very important. But I think one thing before you actually looking to go and say, oh, I'm going to pay for this, pay for that, let's do a diagnostic on the business. Let's look at where the gaps and, where the problem is, where we stop the system moving smoothly before you starting invest money into paying these digital softwares, or where you want to sometimes can be really costly. So I think the first maybe stage is to carry out some of the diagnostic, call them like you do a car MOT, or do that for your business as well. Let's look at the whole overall system. Let's look at where the gaps, where the problems start, and then we can then looking at the problems and come up with some solutions. Yeah, so the inventory management software is very important. Yeah, so that will help you in terms of automate some of the order processing. That's really good. So this is really about the system, isn't it? Let's look at the operational level, how we can make the system running smoothly. Right, get better equipment. Yeah, that could be one. Upscale some of the existing staff. Yes, so the staff, so if they really not have been using the manual processing, so if you're going to have that transformation, you need to make sure all the staff has been trained using some of the platforms to upscale them, to make sure you have a smooth transition from a manual processing to a digital transition. Yeah. What else? So we start simple, don't overcomplicate. Yes, absolutely. You start simple, don't overcomplicate before you understand the system. Absolutely, that's really important. Yeah, right. We've got someone putting here the financial software like Xero and QuickBook. Yeah, again in our E4 pathway financial literacy, we actually talk about Xero and QuickBook, and we have a specific section on how do you use this digital system of softwares or the digital tools like AI tools to help you with your business operation. So go and find those specific information. We might have, if we're sending the resources, we might give you a specific link to have a look at that. Yes, thank you very much, Megan. We have a link looking at those. How do you improve your systems? So the process like the invoicing, and also maybe important to look at your shipment tracking as well. So making sure you're automating those systems. And adoption of AI, definitely the tools and digitalization, collaboration with the other business as well. So if you are aware of the business that you work with, have more experience, you may ask them for the advice before you actually just invest in loads of money where you don't think that's been working. So it's really good to have that sort of support network support around you. Yeah, and also someone says here, you know, you've got the local small e-commerce like membership where you can join the networks and, you know, sharing experience with other business. Well, we also have someone put up this. I can't really see. Well, sell the business, so that could be a strategy. We actually we have talk about selling your business. So we, you know, if some of the business is thinking about selling the business, is important to value your business so you get good returns. So we do have a section in the our pathway talk about sell the business. Yeah, it can be a really good exit strategy. So that's cool. That's brilliant. You shared that one. Okay. Because it could be, you know, if you have been really using the menu, it could be that, you know, you this is something you have been doing for a while, and then now you realize, you know, I want you to sell my business to maybe, you know, cope with the change. And then outsourcing some of the tasks, yes, you know, when you're looking at the system and doing the diagnostic, we can looking at how we can save some of the cost by outsourcing some of the tasks that you're offering this. So that's a really good idea. Well, we have lots of suggestions here, and we can see, you know, this is a perfect example of, you know, how the business can using those strategy to keep them committed to their business long-term goal, and how they control what they can control and see the challenges and opportunities. Brilliant. We're going to move on to the next one. I'm just looking at the time, so we've got a couple more examples to share. So Rod, yeah, we got the next one. We got a boutique fitness studio and experienced a decline in membership due to competition. So what we got here now, an example here is collaborate with influencer and fitness ambassador to reach new audience. I think this focus on is marketing, isn't it? We're losing the membership and there's a competition. You know, how do you cope with the competition? Okay, we've got some good ideas coming up. Make sure your offer is up to date and innovate and offering something better. So this is really looking at how I can do differently from my competitors. And, you know, as part of a, you know, a marketing strategy is looking at what is unique selling point of your business. How can you stand up for your competitors and focusing on the niche? Absolutely, that is really important. Yeah. Well, you know, have a better understanding of the customer. It is important. So when you notice that you have a drop in the membership, and maybe this is the time for you to review, you know, what's the profile of your customers, and then maybe get some feedback from those customers, and then asking them how you can improve, what's the experience they have been in your studio, and then but simply ask them, you know, what can we do better? What other services you're looking for? Yeah, again, you know, we've got people saying, you know, sign up for the competition and see what they do. You got to do your competitor research, isn't it? You know, so you know the competition. There's no point saying, oh, well, you know, why are they going to the competitors? Well, we need to do the research and look at what they offer. You know, how much do they charge? How do they promote the business? And see if you can learn from them as well. So do your market research. And then the market research is not just the customers. You also have the competitors that you need to work with as well to find out what you can learn from them. What can you actually be offering something different? So absolutely important here. And I would say the market research is the heart of your business plan. So making sure you do, you know, do this not just before you're starting up, but always and after, even after you're starting the business. And then listen to your customers who would like to be there and focusing on providing some of the new innovative services and activities. Do we have the right personnel as they properly trained? Yes, absolutely important. You know, who you work with the customers, you know, what have we got the feedback, customer feedback about their satisfaction about people working in the gym. Well, I think in here I'd like to probably share one of the experience that I work with she's absolutely a true young entrepreneur. She's only in her early 20s, and then she took a quite a big premises locally, and she's spent a lot of money refurbishing and have that sort of a strong brand in the local business. And she's got a lot of diversification in terms of income for the business she's offering. So she have collaborated with the business, local business who's offering some healthy meal, from the local supplier. So you got, supporting other business, but you offer, diversified income as well. And then she also collaborated with the local healthy smoothie, smoothies being like the protein powder, all of those things that helping people on a diet or try to build in their body. And she also working with the nutritionist to provide some nutrition advice to, giving them, sharing either on their social media posts to get that engagement as well. We're not just offering a physical, but also what you eat is going to impact what you do. And she's trying to focusing on a strong branding as well. And then, because of her gym, she has a lot of the fitness studio. She has a, few rooms she can hire, so she's renting the room for classes like the yoga classes, meditation, different variety of activity or classes that going on in the fitness studio. She also have a room where she's hiring for the physiotherapy services as well. So that's been working really well her, for her to have a diversified income stream. She's doing really well and have that engagement. Also, I think her pricing strategy is actually doing more with, working with the personal trainer, because you want to build that relationship with, with the personal trainer, and then they take a sort of, commission as well by working with that. Yeah. Oh yeah, I like that idea as well. The merchandise again is looking at diversified income. Yeah, so the hiring of the freelance sort of a personal trainer is part of a pricing strategy. We not only have a membership income, we also have income and taking commissions from the personal trainer. So lots of ideas. We will certainly share. I'm absolutely interested to see every single one of them. So when I'm tidying up the notes, I will definitely share with all of you. The sell the merchandise is a really good one. I focus on particular part of the population. Asking members what they love. Yes. Competition. Yeah. So I'm gonna add the one about, I think the food, offering the food part as well, like the smoothie drink would definitely help. Yeah. Brilliant. Right. Thank you very much, Becca, to help me to tidy up. That's great. Right. I think let's just have a look at the next one. We'll see how the time goes.
Shall we jump to the resilient, share your resilient slide? Yeah, I think because we're getting on. So what we want you to do just as a little summary.
Okay. So do you think we haven't got time?
One thing that we can do is that the link will still open, and I'm sure that people will love. I mean, everybody's been so extremely active with this brainstorming.
Absolutely. I've seen so
that
many
I'm sure
things done,
people can work on the last two. Is it one more or two more scenarios? And maybe we can share that later. That would be lovely.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, I was thinking of maybe I can do one more, just we haven't found. But anyway, so yes, you have you'll have the link to this Padlet. It would be great, have a look at that. And I'm really, appreciated your input and your insight, and then, adopt those 3 strategies that we talk about. So what we want you to do now, just before we, finish today's session, we want you to share with us what would be the one action you would take to build resilience. That could be on your personal life, or you want to talk about your business. So we'd like you to share with us what would be the one action you would take. So we got people asking for help. Yes, so I think, that's one thing we didn't really maybe cover in the scenarios, seeking support. Like, me and Rose, we're working for the organization. We provide funded business support. So maybe you could look at, seeking support when you're going through some of the difficulties, like the financial pressure, to see if there's any funding support within the your area. So do your research.
So on the E4All platform as well.
Yes, absolutely.
There's some links there to look at organizations for support in your country. So make sure that you have a look at that.
Yeah, we've done a lot of research, haven't we? Putting the resources in terms of the geographic area where you can cover. Yeah, take some inspiration from nature. Yeah, I love that. That's really good. And find the trustful partners. Yeah, so working collaboration with the business is absolutely essential to building that strong network around you. Find the right support network. That's what we talk about. Don't play solo. Yes, yeah, you want it to be
Yeah.
supported. Yeah,
Definitely relates to that asking for help.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, think
Brilliant.
about the small actions that you can take.
Yeah.
Open your mind to new horizons, definitely. So getting out of your comfort zone and into the danger zone.
Yeah, and then seek information to get out the hard time. Yeah, so instead of thinking that as a challenge, we take that as an opportunity. Let's seek out some of the support.
Yes, visit the E4All.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and then learn to be excited about change. Yeah, change is a good thing. Obviously, the change and as a positive thing. And and I trust me, how many business work they have change and pivot, and then they're all doing really well. And you've got to see that as an opportunity for your business. Yes, brilliant. And I think we got lots of insight from the session that we just did.
So I'm
Yeah,
just going to share the
go
last
into the last
couple of
sense.
slides. I can always come back to this because it's excellent.
Yeah.
So somebody's been scribbling on my screen,
What's happening?
but we'll just
Let
roll
me
with
see
it.
if I can get rid of it for you.
I like it. So don't forget to connect with us on LinkedIn and join the Entrepreneurship for All Academy. It's great for other support as well and resources. And again, it's just trying to get that community. So it's not just us saying, here's some resources. You can share your own resources that you think are really helpful too. And that relates as well. Don't go solo, find your network. What we want to do as well. So if you're looking for more as well, we've got resource pack, and I say at the end of these sessions that'll get sent out in an email, but there's also one on the website. And then the last little thing, we'd love you to just leave us some quick feedback if you want to scan the code. Or I think someone will share it in the chat by the power of magic. Just a few little things, and it'll help us to improve these sessions too. So please scan that code and dive in. Obviously, we're back tomorrow lunchtime as well, so make sure that you do join us. And then we will also be back in March. I'll share that slide in a minute, but I'll just give you a chance to scan this.
Yes, because you know what, Ross? This feedback is also about hearing everybody and seeing what everybody wants so that we can prepare sessions and resources and different activities for everyone. So honestly, it takes about a minute and a half. So
Yeah.
do
There's
scan
great
that,
market research as well, isn't it?
do scan that QR code and answer the couple of questions that we added there so that we can really cater to your needs and wants, okay?
Makes it interactive as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, just we talk about the business, like the fitness studio, they need to know whether their customer, we are the same. We want to know whether we're providing the right resources and information for you, in terms of your starting up or growing your business. So it's been brilliant. Thank you so much for what you have shared with us, and we'll share with you and using those strategies in your business, coping with some of the uncertainty. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
And then here's the QR code if you want to sign up for our next academy. So this is the Women's Entrepreneurship in March. Also, you don't have to be a woman to come along. If you support women in your business, if you're interested, there's resources for everyone. So please make sure you join us, and me and Jan will be back on that one too.
Yes, we'll love to have you. And tomorrow, don't miss tomorrow. Tomorrow at 12, our dear friend Pamela from EIT Food is going to join us. She has prepared an amazing session as well, all about leadership, okay? Wellness and leadership, and how to deal with those issues that sometimes come up when you become a leader. So please join us tomorrow. Thank you very much, Jan and Ross. Thank you, everybody. Our channels are open for you. Keep on brainstorming. I think we had a very creative lunchtime here together. So keep on brainstorming on that Padlet. Do come to Entrepreneurship for our community on LinkedIn, Entrepreneurship for All Academy community. So there we can share. People are already sharing very interesting things there. And it's all of us who are in this same journey. So thank you, everyone. It's been brilliant. See you tomorrow.